how to make $40,000 in your coaching business. Do you want to make an extra 20, 30, 40K in your online coaching business? Well, in this video, you're going to hear from one of my coaches, Robbie, who is absolutely crushing it. He's going to go over all the posts that he's making, all the content that he's making, what he's following in my program, right? I literally should be charging you for this video, but I'm going to give it for free, right? So enjoy it, listen to what he's doing, and just imitate it, okay? And before you get started on the video, two things, okay? If you need help implementing any of this into your coaching business, check the link down below so you can get your first 5 clients guaranteed or your money back. And the last thing, right, is literally if you just can't sit here and just like hear this, right? And like this coach is literally doing everything that you want to do, you might as well just click off, okay? But if you're ready to start getting clients online, you're serious, enjoy the video and subscribe if you haven't. Peace. I'm going to hand it off to you. Go ahead, Robbie, do your thing, and I'm going to go ahead and mute myself.
Word. Thanks for that intro, AJ. What's up, everybody? For some context, just to AJ's credit, I didn't start in the online space until November. That's when I met AJ of last year. I didn't become a client of AJ's until January. And in February, I took my first client. And then, like he said, I'm consistently doing 30K months now, pretty much running the strategy that he talks about inside this community. So I have a lot that I want to cover in the next hour. And my goal is to make this like a little bit more interactive because if you guys let me go, like I'm just going to straight up just rant at you the entire time. Not that you're not used to that with AJ in the first place, but what my goal is to make this like more interactive, definitely leave some chance for questions and answers and stuff like that. But I've kind of structured this into 4 separate categories, maybe 5. I thought of one right before jumping on this call. But to structure the kind of flow, generally speaking, it's going to be like, hey, what's the stuff, the basics that actually matter when it comes to what's working for me with how to structure content, the type of content that is actually going to get leads into your DMs, right? People that are actually going to reach out to you rather than having to just to start to attract rather than chase, right? To take them from those DMs, get them on your calendar, and then take it a step further, which is how do you make sure they still show up on the call, right? If all of those things go correctly and then they show up on the call, then you got to close them, right? We got sales calls for that. So I'm not gonna, or sales trainings for that. So I'm not gonna dive into that part, but all of that has to go the right way to get a client. Even if you get them on the call, then close them. So the very first thing that I thought of right before coming in here was, and I know AJ likes to use this term of like the niche slap, right? And the niche, like the word niche is somewhat become like a buzzword. And I remember hearing it so much, I became fatigued of this concept. Like, oh, I don't know, I just want to like help everybody. And I said that for a very long time, And the truth is, I still do want to help everybody. But in the process of doing that, I was effectively helping nobody. So when you talk about a niche, I think I want to take just a second to say like who you help and what it actually means. So when people talk about a niche, I'll ask somebody random online, just having a conversation, be like, oh, what's your niche? And they'll be like, oh, busy professionals, right? And I'm not trying to put anybody on blast. I'm really not. Like, if that's your thing right now, like, okay, I've been there. I got it. But here's the truth. Like, the day of the busy professional, it's done. It's not an identity. When you talk about a niche, it's what is that person's identity? You need to think about this when I was coming up to this conversation. When you talk about an identity, it's like, oh, what is that? It's these lofty terms. And think of it as like you're at a party or a social gathering. And somebody comes up to you and they go, oh, hey, like, tell me about yourself. What do you do? I'm a busy professional. What? Like, nobody says that, right? So when you say like, hey, why am I not getting the traction? It's because when you're saying something like that, it makes sense in our brain, but then like somebody on the receiving end isn't going to see that and be like, that applies to me, or that's how I identify myself as. like an identity component that is like deeply ingrained in how they associate themselves when they look in the mirror. Like when you go to a party, what do you say? You know, when you're talking to somebody and they say, "Hey, like, what do you do? Tell me about yourself." Oh, I'm XYZ. This is what I am. Oh, I'm a father, I'm a mother, I work in XYZ. Like these identity components start to come out. So if you're somebody, first of all, that is struggling with that most basic piece, think like, what do people say, right? When you're speaking to them about them, what do they say about themselves? Because that's what they identify as. So like, and the more specific you can be, the more they're going to pay attention because they're also not just like, you know, when I'm at a social gathering, go, hey, well, until tomorrow, I'm a firefighter, right? And I'm a firefighter, but I'm a lot of other things too. So the more specific, like I'm a male firefighter. Yeah, go ahead. Good. All right. So yeah, I'm a male firefighter, or hey, I'm a dad, or I'm a dad in in Josh's case, like I'm a dad in IT, right? Like how specific can you get? And the more you can speak to those problems. And from those problems, you can start to make and structure your content. So the first thing is like what AJ talked about being, hey, volume, right? This big idea, especially like getting started, volume. I'm actually doing more now than I was when I was getting started, but that's because of the structure and the system. And that takes some time to adapt to. So we talk about like, hey, do you structure your content? And I'm not talking about like the types of content yet. I'm talking about, do you have a plan for what you post every single week? Or do you have to sit there every day and think, oh, what do I got to make? Like, how do you do that? I will tell you right now, like my volume is 3 long form YouTube videos and 14 short form to Instagram alone. That's not including TikTok. Do you think that that would be possible if I didn't have per week? Yep, per week. That's my volume. Do you think I would be able to do that if I didn't have some kind of plan that took out decision fatigue? If you have to sit there every single time you're making content and be like, I don't know what I'm gonna make, I could do this, I could do X, I could blah, 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 blah. That mental process, because I felt it, it's exhausting. So let's take a look. AJ, can I share my screen? Do I have the ability to do it? I'm gonna request that I share my screen. Okay. This is literally how simple it can be. So, like, I have this on a Google Doc, right? This is how I run it every week. We talk about structure, right? Sunday through Monday. Every week, if you go back and look at my Instagram profile, it's going to repeat based off of these things. This isn't the thing, but what does this do? This makes it so I don't have to think about it's going to be in these categories, right? Some of this might be language that maybe you don't, that's like the real post is like a text post that's still a reel, but I don't have to think about how I'm structuring my content. Every day of the week, I know, oh, it's going to be this. And when I'm content planning, whether you're just making content every single day or whether you're doing it like me now, where I take every Thursday, and since I have this structure in this system, I can do all of this with like 4 or 5 hours of time, uninterrupted. 4 or 5 hours is what this would take. And it's getting better. So when it comes to these kinds of things weekly, if you want to put out volume, first you have to ask yourself, like, have I set myself up for success to do that? What if half the time is just being wasted on thinking of what you want to make? How like compounded over time, how much time wasted is that really? If you can just take it and say, this is my system. This is what I'm going to do. Every Sunday, I'm going to have these types of posts. Every Monday, I'm having these types of posts. Every Tuesday, whatever. Now you just have to come up with it. And I know that AJ gives you the tools to do some other content to speed up your process with captions. Let me ask the group here now, like what's a resource that we can use? It's a very obvious answer to help with the content creation process. ChatGPT. Yeah. So like your captions, right? We all know that we want value in the captions for the most part. But have you taken it a step far enough to know what's actually going to, sure, Opus Clip for some stuff with actual like long form to short form. I use Opus Clip as well. But we're talking content ideation, when we're talking, hey, what's going to actually give me the ideas for the content that I can post? Well, that's got to be extreme. Now, here's the flip side. If you think you can just go into ChatGPT and then just have it generate stuff without having a conversation, ChatGPT is a partnership. It needs to know you. And I know whether it's in here or in the quantum community, there are prompts for ChatGPT to understand you and your program. What I did was I took it a step further. Back when I was first getting started, I don't have the original prompt, I'm sorry, but the concept should remain the same. I did a deep dive. It would probably be uncomfortable for a lot of you. It was uncomfortable for me. Like, went in, and I was like, I want you to know everything about my childhood, my beliefs, my psychology. Here's my program. Ask me questions. I'm going to answer them. Great. Now ask me follow-up questions. Okay, answer those. All right, now tell me everything about me. Okay, still need to do some work. Boom, 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 boom. Here's some more questions. Here's some more conversations. I probably spent in total over the course of a week at one point, like 2 to 4 hours telling ChatGPT about me, my beliefs, what my program is, and how I speak, and the message that I want to get across. I dedicated that level of time so that every time I ask it to make a piece of content for me or to brainstorm with me as a tool, 9 times out of 10, it's spot on. It speaks like me. It understands my rhetoric. It understands my world. It understands my niche. And it can speak and bounce ideas off and the whole thing. So you want to know, like, oh my gosh, how do people put out the volume that they do? You know, like I say 14 times per week, and I still think that's like small. That's a small fish, right? You think like Hormozy. I've heard, what did he say? At some point I heard him say like, oh, we put out 400 pieces of content a week. I think that's like Hormozy, right? So like 450 per week. Okay, 14 ain't shit. Sorry. Firefighter. We swear. So like 14, like at the grand scheme of things, do you think that they're just doing more? Do you think they're also doing smarter? So I have this expression that I tell with the people, the clients that I work with. I don't like the expression. No, not even that. I hate the expression work smarter, not harder. I love the expression work smarter, then harder. They are not mutually exclusive. Just do it in the right order. Work smart, then work hard, and then continue to redefine what working smart looks like. This would be an example of that. Like, hey, how much effort have you put into like the efficiency of your content creation process? If you're struggling to make content, maybe it's not, maybe it's an efficiency, maybe it's a system thing. After that, we need to talk about, so that's the structure. Like, hey, have you structured your content in a way that's going to be conducive to put out the stuff that you need to put out or want to put out? After that, there's like the types of content that generally I'm going to split this into two categories. Types of content that like convert and drive leads into your inbox, into your DMs that are working for me right now, and the types of content that nurture. We can kind of classify those into, and there's obviously crossover. It's not black and white, but generally speaking, there are some kinds of content that, in my personal experience, are driving more people. And I'm talking inbound hot leads. Like I don't have to reach out to them. They reach out to me. I'm not chasing. They're getting a hold of me either via a call to action, like comment keyword, and then go high level, or the backpack does the automation to send them a message, but it's only after they've already showed interest. The types of content that I'm finding that does that is two types. It's talking head and it's B-roll. And if you came here thinking like, oh my God, there's some kind of secret that like he's gonna say that it's gonna be, it's like, no, it's B-roll and it's literally talking head, talking to the right people about the right problems and bringing forward the right solution. Now, I want to be very clear here that B-roll can be split into two different categories, right? There's like a lot of what AJ talks about, a simple like 8-second clip with a lot of value in the caption, or something that I've been calling like a B-roll composition or compilation, where I put B-roll together to tell a story that's a little bit more infotainment, but it does work, and it does bring people into the inbox. I want to give you an example of something like that. I'm going to share my screen again. These generally, they take a little bit more work. I usually only do 1 or 2 a week, but these typically generate more. Call to action. 40-second video, call to action, comment lessons. There are hundreds of comments on this video from just something like that. Do all of them hit like that? Of course not. That's not the game that we're playing. We're testing stuff out. We're trying new things. But value with a call to action. And on top of that, when we go back to this concept of structure, how many of you have put serious time and effort into like your automations? And listen, I know that Go High Level is not the most like user-friendly platform in the world. But if you could have something on autopilot and you got to bear through just the kind of uncomfortable, monotonous work that goes into setting something up like that, you could save yourself literally probably a month trying to reply to people that comment a keyword that automatically sends them a message once they have shown interest. So do you have the system? Do you have the structure? Do you have the type of content? The type of content that I'm seeing is, again, value, either in the form of a talking head or a B-roll. It doesn't matter. Either way, the concept is the same. I'm providing some kind of value, some kind of lesson, both in the form of a talking head or a B-roll, with more value in the caption, addressing a specific person. Oh, gotcha. ManyChat, or Go High Level, whatever you're using. And value up front, call to action, comment keyword has driven 90% of my traffic to the leads that I have. Is from active engagement on that. Now, is there the other 10%? Like, oh, I got a new follower, I'm going to send them a message. Yeah, you got to do that too. You got to do all the things. All of it works. It's just what's the stuff that is going to be the most effective? What is going to be the most time efficient? And then we talk about content that nurtures, which is the other side of the equation, because sometimes people are going to see a lot, not sometimes, people are going to see a lot of your videos before they're going to trust you. People are going to see, let me say that again. People are going to see a lot of your videos before they trust you. AJ, what is it? 47 minutes before somebody trusts you? especially on Instagram. How many videos is that they got to watch to trust you? How much do they have to go through your page and see before they're like, oh, this person, I think they know what they're talking about. I think and more than that, I know AJ just spent a lot of time talking to Hormozi about the trust deficit. How long before they trust you? How long before they think that you're sincere? There's a lot. Let's just be honest. Let's be transparent with each other. There's a lot of shitty coaches. There's a lot of people out there just there to, a lot of people have been burned by bad coaches. And it makes it harder for the rest of us when you're actually a person out there trying to do some good, trying to actually help people. It makes everything harder. So they need to spend more time with you. They need to be reassured even more, to even trust you to send you a message. Because their baseline is like -10. They're like, don't trust anybody. Everybody's out to make a dime. It don't matter. You got to work more than we used to. So then where does that come in? We have the content that nurtures. And content that nurtures, I've learned one thing about this very recently, more dramatically than anything else, because I'm seeing it on my sales calls. And it does not replicate. It does not replicate on my profile. I want to be very clear. The stuff that nurtures the people that end up getting on calls with me is not getting thousands of likes. It's not getting thousands of views. It's stuff like this. I'm on Reels, that's why. It's stuff like this. This has 4 likes. I don't care. Like, that's not why I'm posting it. Because here's the thing. Some of these people that I've realized I've gotten on these calls with, they don't interact with my stuff at all. They don't like it. They don't comment. They don't care. And by the way, like this is not a brag. This is not even a humble brag, because I literally have transformed from, like, I do not care how many followers I have, because I've realized how unimportant it really is. Like, truly. Like, I'm close to 10,000 and nobody should care about that. Least of all me. Literally don't care. I've had a couple people mention it to me and they're like, "Oh my God, what an accomplishment." I'm like, doesn't matter. It makes no difference to me. How many, like, great. I have a more of an audience to continue nurturing for down the line. Sure. But in and of itself, like, that being an accomplishment that means anything other than I have more people to nurture, I'm not getting paid more because I'm about to have 10,000 followers. I'm not. I have more people that I can try and change, like, the mission, the purpose, the values. Yes. But at the end of the day, this has 4 likes. You know what people bring up to me when I get on calls with them? It's stuff like this. It's stuff that I write in the captions. It's the video, it's the post with 4 likes, with 5 likes. It's the carousel where they're like, "Man, that hit hard. I didn't say anything, but man, like, I knew it felt like it was talking to me." Like this. Just a picture with a caption that is personal to myself and to my niche. When I get on calls with people, they're bringing up this stuff. Nobody's bringing up, you know what people aren't bringing up? Is the videos that I have on here that have, like, close to 500,000 views. Nobody has gotten on a call with me back when I was doing this. Let's see, which one I want? Back when, trying to find a good, oh, here we go.
So, you're a firefighter. I bet that means you get hit on in uniform all the time. Oh, absolutely. But not by women. By my coworkers. The sense of security that comes from being called a little smack by your boys, dude. Come on. And yeah, maybe I leaned into this a little bit. Maybe I went and bought some tighter tech pants on purpose. So sue me. I refuse to be made into the bad guy when I'm just trying to uplift people around me. You want to stare at my ass as I'm getting into the engine? Good. This right here is what brotherhood is all about. So,
All right, let me ask you something. That video has 500,000 views. It was really fun to make. I enjoyed it. I had a good time making it. 500,000 views, tens of thousands of likes, interactions, shares. Even today, still, that was like months ago. It's still getting shared. Cool. Ask me how many clients came from that video. Zero. Ask me how many clients have ever brought up that video or leads on a sales call has ever brought up that video. None. Like zero. It doesn't matter. This is what's my goal and what's my job? Because there was a point in my journey where I was making content like that and thinking it was a major accomplishment. And it's cool, like if that's what you want to do. But AJ made a post. I can't remember which one. I remember the substance. It said the reason that you're not getting clients is because you're making content for views and likes and you're not making content for conversations. That post, I remember where I saw it. I was on a flight either to or from Mexico, saw it while I was making content on the plane, saw that post, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, I'm doing this all wrong. I'm doing everything wrong. The whole motivation is wrong. I got to make content that's going to start conversations with people. Like, what does that mean? You know, it means approaching it entirely differently. So that's when I came up with this system for like, all right, my goal is to bring people in and to nurture them. Let's make it that simple. It's going to get people in the door. What's going to nurture them? Those two things. Not every piece of content is created the same. Not every piece of content has the same purpose. You're going to build trust. You're going to bring them in the door. Cool. Rinse, repeat. Bring them in, trust. Bring them in, trust. Bring them in, trust. Sometimes they do both. Cool. But generally speaking, the B-roll and the talking head is going to bring them in. That's my experience. And then the other styles here. Nope. Here we go. Carousel, real post, carousel, static post, static post, static post. More of those are about nurturing that don't get any traction, quote unquote, social media wise. But this is what people bring up. This is what people talk about when I get on calls with them. One of the reasons, I've been posting my podcast episodes into this community recently. After I got on a call, I hadn't posted a podcast for a month. I got on a call with somebody and the guy was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I've seen like 3 or 4 of your podcasts, man. I love it. Like it's so good. I had to get on a call with you." And I was like, he didn't book through YouTube, but that was his first comment. He's like, "Dude, I love your podcast." And I was like, "Crap. Like better get back on that. Better return to some more nurturing." So the point in bringing this up is that you'll notice not everything I do is like a call to action. Not everything I do, because if you don't believe that some people might get tired of that over some time, every single thing is a call to action. This is about like nurturing, growing them. Yes, there's more in my content scheme now about nurturing than there is about a call to action. There's a decent amount of call to action, but that's not all that there is. And then you might have noticed in there is still one. I like to do this for myself. One post a week has nothing other to do than just me having fun. And that's for me. I don't do that for likes. I don't do that for anything. I don't do that to get clients. I do that because, hey, I have this idea. I think it'll be funny. I think I'm going to have a good time making it. And sometimes in the content process, you need a little bit of that. You need just to be like, screw it, this one's for me. I'm just throwing it out there because I enjoyed making it and because I thought it was funny or whatever it is. So, if we can boil this down, I know that this has been me talking a lot. We got structure. Do you have a structure? Do you even have a structure in place? You have content that is going to convert, content that's going to get people to engage with you in the form of B-roll and talking head. Talking to the right niche. You can't just be like, oh, I posted a B-roll and nothing happened. Like, are you making is your messaging addressing the right people? And then content that nurtures. Is this stuff that's actually going to speak to those people that have like given you their attention? Is it going to hit home, not just like mentally, but like emotionally? Like, what's deeper? When I talk to firefighters, you think that if you guys have seen some of the sales calls I posted, it's very rarely, yo, like, you know, you want the 6-pack, you want the ab, you want the, you know, it's like, hey, when you're out of shape as a firefighter, what do you see in the mirror? How does that make you feel? When you see your gut spilling over your belt, how does that make you feel about your standard of yourself as a firefighter? What about your kids? Do you feel like you're showing up for them? Do you feel like you're giving yourself the best chance to go home after every shift? These points aren't like, we're fitness coaches. But the content speaks to identity. It speaks to emotion. It speaks to their values. It's like, yeah, dude, I want to get, you know, and a lot of these people, they'll come on and they'll be like, I just want to get back into XYZ shape. And it's like, yeah, but why? Like, why is that important to you? What does that mean to you? And then you come to find out the more that you start to talk to some of these people, whatever your niche is, the same recurring things keep coming up. The same recurring problems, fears, desires. You say, oh man, like and I can only speak to mine, right? Because I've decided to be hyper specific and specialized. Like, I don't want to, number one killer of firefighters in America is cardiac arrest, sudden cardiac arrest. I don't want that to be me. They don't start the call by saying that. I got to get out there. But then I take these things and I'm like, okay, these are the real emotional issues that I make my content around. If you go and look at my content, it's hardly ever about like, hey, you should be able to shoulder press at least 80 pounds in each hand. It used to be AJ before AJ called me on my bullshit. But like, hey, you know, like you shouldn't be able to shoulder press this weights for this amount of weight if you're a firefighter. That's not like what my content says is, hey, you should be in shape because it means that you will be safer for your crew, safer for yourself, safer for your family to come home after every single shift. The ones that matter most. It'll make it so that you can go throughout your entire career and not have to be broken. And more than that, into your retirement and still keep up with your kids and your grandkids. That's what do you hear the difference between like the statements? That is how my content is structured. It's not around like, hey, do you want some of it is, but it always ties back into the why, the emotional concept. Like, hey, yeah, do you want to lose 20 or 30 pounds? You should, because that means you'll live longer to stay around your kids or your family. It means you'll be able to be there to save your crew if they go down. Way different statement than I just want to like be shredded for the summer. So what's their why? What are the things that like are really going on here? I hope that made sense. I hope that like, you know, when we talk about that, if you can generate your content from that perspective And what I'm starting to realize the more and more that like communication works on sales calls, on your content delivery system, whatever it is, it's starting to like meld into one. Like the way that I'm speaking in my content is similar to the way that I speak to a prospect on a call. The things that the topics are more and more melding together and becoming more seamless because those are the things that we care about. Yeah, if you have questions, I know I'm going off here on a tangent. I do want to get to DMs on your calendar right before, and I'll make sure we have time for questions. DMs to calendar, right? I'm sure everybody here has some kind of DM script, or you should if you don't. Like, hey, this is the kind of sequence of events that I need to go into to kind of like qualify, get them on, and I'll just bring up a couple of key points because most scripts, like you can find a script. You have ChatGPT do it right now. Just like anything else, just like everybody in here, coach in the online space. I'm sure everybody believes that to be the most successful in any program, that whatever it is, whatever field you run, needs to be personalized. If they're going to be successful, it needs to be personalized. So think about your niche. Now, let's just take this at where am I going with this? You can take a general, like, most scripts follow the same principles, right? Like, hey, how you doing? What are your goals? What are your motivations? How serious are you? How long you been working on this? You know, do you want to book a call? XYZ. Like, you know the script. How it's formed and personalized to your niche is what matters. As soon as I figured out, like, oh, I need to just talk to these people in the DM script the same way I would talk to them at the firehouse. Super upfront, super blunt, like no bullshit, no sugarcoating, no, like straight to it. Exactly the way that firefighters like to talk to each other. Doubled my booking rate. When I stopped playing this, like, oh, hey, how you do? Like game, this like no, I'm here to do this. Now, that's because I understand firefighters. If you think you can take that same kind of approach and apply it to a coach who works with, you know, prenatal care, I don't you know, like you might have a different outcome. You know, if you take you might. I don't know. I'm just using that as an example. You need to know who you're talking to. You need to know how they talk to each other and what's going to make them lower their guard. So just like, oh, this guy's legit. He's not sugarcoating anything. He's not bullshitting me at all. Like, okay, maybe it's worth a little bit more of a conversation because I'm just being real with them. But I know how firefighters like to be talked to. So my script reflects that. And then I'll throw in just a side note here on the ChatGPT note. If you were to go through more prompting and have it get to know you better in your niche and you have a very clear, concise idea of who it is you work, that's the key concept, right? You understand exactly who you're working with. Exactly. Then you go through with ChatGPT, have it understand you, your program, the way that you speak, the way that you need to speak to others, and then make the script. I bet it'll work a lot better based off of that. But don't just try to do like some copy paste PS where it doesn't understand what you're doing and who you are. And then lastly, this is just an additional note here, something that I learned very recently. AJ, I hope this isn't in conflict with what you teach. If it is, I'm sorry. This is what's working for me. I got tired of just dropping booking links into the DMs and then having them never fill them out. Like too much. Like so many people. Oh yeah, I want to do it. Oh, here's the link. Never see them again. Get their freaking information and put it in yourself. Yes, is it extra steps? Yes, is it more inconvenient? Get the call booked. You know, it took me way longer to figure that out than it should have, admittedly. Is just having them fill out the booking link themselves. Like get their email, get their phone number, get them on the calendar. And then this as long as it's not a 2-call close. Yeah. Okay. Is that in conflict with what you teach, AJ? I don't mean to step on your toes.
No, you guys, I was saying in the chat, like, well, basically Robbie does is because Robbie, if you guys saw our YouTube video that we did, that what you if you he said it to me, he's like, oh, I just fill out their information. I didn't know he does that, right? You if you guys want to try that, because I totally get it. When you drop a booking link, you guys can do that, right? But just keep in mind is like if there's certain key questions that you guys need answer, like for example, if they're sole decision maker, like it's working for Robbie because it's like proven that it works. So I'm a big believer if something is working, do it. If you guys want to experiment it, you can, but just know it's going to require more time because they're going to give you the information, then you have to put it. So if you guys want to test it, go for it. I'm just letting you know for context. It's like just understand that it is going to require more of your time.
A lot of ways to do it. I also would highly recommend. There's something I'm working on, like AJ's DM Siege, like the videos that I've tested it out a couple times and have already gotten a client from it. So like I just need to automate that, and I'll probably be leaning into that as well. There's an immense value in what he's provided there, and I'm still not seeing a lot of that in the space. If anything, it sticks out more than like people get used to like getting content. Like it starts to sound the same. You start to sound the same as everybody else. Do something like that, you stick out, starts to change things up a little bit. So highly recommend that. That's something I'm working on implementing myself as well. The and so that's the DMs to calendar, right? And then the last piece here that I wanted to touch on was like making sure that they actually show up on the appointment, right? So again, I don't know what automation system you use. I'm using the Backpack. I'm using automations that are going to send them messages and reminders via SMS and email. The way that I have it set up is they get a confirmation right to their phone as soon as they book. They get a reminder 24 hours that is also attached with my VSL. Hey, if you haven't had a chance to watch the VSL yet, here's the VSL straight to their phone. And then lastly, and then an hour before, and then 10 minutes before they get the actual Zoom link. And it'll say, hey, here's the link to our call that's happening in 10 minutes. Following that has increased my show up rate from like 50 to 70%. If that makes sense. So that was a lot. Thank you for listening. I hope you were able to take some things away from that. I see that Lloyd has a question. What's up, Lloyd?
Hey, what's up, Robert? First off, I'm Tyson. I'm just on somebody else's computer right now.
Tyson.
But,
All right.
all good,
I'm gonna
man.
stick with Lloyd.
Why not?
What's
Yeah,
up,
I
man?
appreciate you sharing all this, especially like the piece about the content and yeah, for how many months you've been in it or working with AJ, just incredible. And I am kind of right in the middle of really narrowing down my niche. And if you could just walk me through like where did you start and then end up now with firefighters, just so I can see some of your journey.
Yeah.
That'd be
Oh,
helpful.
man. I'm sure AJ's laughing right now because where I started was all over the frickin' place, man. If I can be totally honest with you, Josh probably remembers this too. Like I went through so many iterations, but I did it quickly, and it wasn't beating my head against a wall. And the truth is, so for context, I am a full-time firefighter, and I resisted the idea of doing this for firefighters out of the sake of like my program can benefit everyone. This is not just for one group of people. And then I had to get really honest with myself. And maybe this is something you can do as the same because I bet each of you in here, whatever your skill is, whatever you teach, whatever you coach, if you really sat down and like I had an honest conversation with myself, I was like, who comes to me more than anyone else when it comes to these things? And like, who do I understand? Who do I have the most conversations with about this? And it was always firefighters, like obviously, because I was one. But they knew I was like the health and fitness guy at the department. So they're like every day. And then every off day, like getting text messages, getting this, getting that, like, hey, and I found myself talking about my program where it's like, hey, well, it can apply to firefighters like this. It can apply. And I was like, wait, I've made this whole program so that I could do it with the lifestyle that I have. And I'm a firefighter. So while I resisted this, what I realized was if I couldn't help everybody, if I wanted to help everybody, but if I could help firefighters, that was better than helping nobody, which is what I was doing when I was trying to help everybody. And it made the message more personal and more powerful. And the process of like finding that niche, I don't think you have to be your niche, by the way. Like I've seen plenty of people, but it takes extra work because I'll give you an example. He's not on the call. One of my buddies that he's more so in the quantum community, but his name's Kevin. He does work for cash-based medical practices essentially. And he's never been one, but he understands their pains, their fears. He's got a system that works for them. He speaks directly to that group of people, and he does a really good job with it. He's like, this is it. This is the group of people. Like, I understand it. He had to spend time speaking to, understanding what they go through, what they fear, what their problems are, what they want. So it took like a little bit more work up front. Whereas for me, it was like, well, I had been doing the legwork all along because I was experiencing the things that are wrong in the fire service when it comes to health and fitness. So my process was iteration, 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 iteration. Still, even now to this day, like I don't know if you're ever done. Like my
Yeah,
offer is
yeah,
much more concrete, but like I've been improving it the entire time. So it's like first
gotcha.
it's like finding the right offer, then it's like now you never stop improving it. That's my experience.
Yeah, interesting. Because as you were sharing like your iterations and moving through it a little bit earlier, like I help burnout 9 to 5ers, but that is all very broad, right? There can be a lot of burnout 9 to 5ers. I came from a 17-year career in selling fruit. And one of the main reasons I left, or a big reason, was that I hated to get on the phone every day and fucking have horrible conversations with people who hated their job too. Like it was soul sucking, right? And so, anyways, it gave me this idea. This guy went to firefighters, and I'm not asking you to refine my niche, but just bringing it up. That's real interesting because I was that guy. I can speak their language. Like
Mm,
I know their pain. I know what
mm,
they're getting up early and doing all this shit. Anyway, so yeah,
mm.
really interesting. But maybe takes a little bit of courage to just fucking narrow it down, and then maybe you actually
That's what
help
I was
more
gonna say,
people.
man, was just like how can you be more specific? You know? How can
Yeah.
you be more specific? Because you're right. It's like, hey, 9 to 5er. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's like, he's also having a hard time. He's not in this community, but he reached out to me. He's like, hey, how did you? It was almost an identical conversation. He's
Mm.
like, well, I'm working with shift workers. And I was like, all right. I mean, like that's a level, but like, could we go deeper? Could we expand on that a little bit? Could we get more specific? 9 to 5. So let me ask you this, back to my point at the beginning. If you're at a party and somebody walks up to you and says, "Hey, what do you do?" You're gonna be like, "I'm a 9 to 5er."
Yeah.
Maybe, but probably not, right?
No,
Like,
and
is that
that
your identity? Is your identity a 9 to 5er?
yeah, and that's one thing that really kicked me off because
Yeah.
if this would have been 6 years ago, I would have been I'm a fruit salesman, right? That was my identity back then. That's what
Yeah.
I would have told you. So
Yeah.
yeah, very interesting. And then I think as you go along, obviously you can expand if you want, but then maybe other people who aren't those fruit salespeople may come along for the journey because they experience some of the same pains, right? So
Let me give you an example. When I was trying to talk to every single person on the planet, I attracted nobody. And then I switched into firefighters, and then people from outside the field started coming to me for reasons that still confuse me.
mm,
Um, they have shown interest and been like, whether it's personal connection. Let me be clear, I pretty much exclusively work with firefighters. I've made a couple of exceptions through personal connections of my clients who have brought other people in that really wanted them to benefit from the program that I've taken on. And I've taken one police officer. I told her, I was like, this is a program for firefighters. She's like, I know, but everything you talk about is just hitting. I was like,
yeah.
okay, like, cool, let's do it. So she's the only one I've taken, but I'm giving her a trial run,
Yeah.
and she's doing great. Like,
Got it. No, I appreciate it, man. And last thing, you're running ads, yes or no?
I am not right now. I am doing actually my first like official. I mean, I've done like boosted posts and stuff. Okay,
Okay.
so I've done like profile visits, kind of lackadaisically, and I'll take ownership right now. Like what I've seen in terms of quote unquote success, uh, has probably made me more complacent than it should when it comes to ads. Because a lot of people, you should run ads. You should follow the exact system that AJ talks about. Like ads should be like the accelerator. And my goal, and I'll just state this to the world, like I'm going for 100K month before the end of the year. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm not going to get there without getting serious about what I've been ignoring, which is ads. So I'm not talking like I'm doing a full ad campaign starting in 2 days. Like full deep down like more money than I've ever come close to just boosting a post with. Like I'm getting serious about it. To answer your question, everything I've done up until this point has been almost 99% organic.
Wow. And when you boost a post, you're spending what? $10, $20, $30?
Yeah, 10 to 20 bucks a day, like nothing serious. And now just to give, you know, a reference point, the expectation will be somewhere between 50 to $100 a day. Depending obviously on testing and feedback and stuff like that. I'm not just going to go crazy all into it, but that's again, the goal is 100,000 in a month before the end of the year. So like, what's it take to get there? And what's your risk tolerance?
Yeah. Beautiful, man. Thanks for sharing today.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Do you have any other questions? Any?
I think there's one in the chat, and then that would be the
Oh,
last one because I gotta end this meeting in a bit because I gotta
okay.
call up this.
I'm resisting focusing on females with recovery and hypnosis. After listening to this, I feel like I should lean into that. Not that my program skills can't help men, but I understand women better. By saying slighted by the exception, can you like expand on that, Leah?
Yeah, so, well, I'm actually a community manager for an alcohol-free community. The head coach of that community let in someone who wanted to join to quit smoking. Well,
Okay.
all the smokers are like, or all the drinkers are like, well, the smoker doesn't understand the troubles that I go through being a drinker because nicotine does not affect them the way.
Mm,
So I was just curious with, even
I
though
see.
it, yeah.
Yeah, with the officer. Well, let's understand some context here first. Regarding my niche, the police department and the fire department work hand in hand in most areas, like very closely tied together, like interaction constant, and a lot of the same problems are present in both communities when it comes to like chronic stress, fatigue, habits, mental health and stuff like that. A lot of the same commonalities are there. So I haven't personally received any kind of that feedback, nor did anybody really care. And if anybody did, then I would stand up for what I believed is right and say, hey, like this program isn't about like this program is about helping people if they resonate with the things that are going on here and they resonate with the overall values and they're equally going to support you, then I would see it as a non-issue. Making that exception, quote unquote, like I think is really about the culture of your community. So like it never came up in mine because they're accepting of the other people that are present there. I'm not saying that that's not the case with yours because it's very specific. Alcohol free, I can understand why that might come with a connotation of like there's like a trauma bonding aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
That can come with that kind of environment. So if you're on the outside of that, then it might feel like an attack on a safe space. So I can see, but I don't think there's a specific answer to your question. I think there's too much context, if that
Okay,
makes sense.
it does.
Okay.
All right,
A
every
great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Well, I got to end this right now. I know Robbie can, there's a lot more value that Robbie can drop for you guys. So feel free. If you guys have maybe like a more in-depth question you guys want to ask him, you guys are more than welcome to. I would just ask that you post in the community. That way, Robbie can respond to it when he's able to, and then that way everyone else can get value to it. But I just will kind of summarize a lot of things that he's doing. It's like, and like this is like stuff that like I taught him in the beginning, like, and then he just implemented more, and then he just added his own spin on it. That's why if you guys see it in a lot of the courses that you guys have available, like especially the neural ones, I tell you guys a lot. It's like, hey, I'm gonna give you the structure, I'm gonna give you the plan, but then you're just gonna make it into your own. Like that's what it is. You're just gonna make it into your own. So like right now, it's like the offer stage is always where most coaches get stuck in the very, very beginning. And like you want it to be perfect in the beginning with your offer, and it's never gonna be perfect. Robbie was only able to perfect his offer because he was able to start producing a lot of content, and then the market began to tell him what they wanted. If Robbie stood in that paralysis of like, oh, it needs to be perfect, Robbie wouldn't have never been producing as much content. And then also too, if you see the volume that he does, it's a lot of volume. So it's like look at the volume that someone like that's successful, that someone that obviously you guys are on here, and I'm assuming everyone here would love to have a coaching business that generates over $40,000 a month. I'm assuming everyone would love to have that, right? Therefore, it's like you look at the volume and you look at the clarity. That's basically what he's saying. Hermosi said it too. It's like just being very specific on who you're talking to. Yeah, you're not going to get a whole bunch of views. You're not going to get a whole bunch of likes. It's not going to happen. But it's like I cannot tell you how many coaches are crushing it in this business. And if you look at their content and if you're judging it off of vanity metrics, like how many views, how many likes did I get? If you're judging it off of that, you would look at Robbie's page and be like, oh, this guy's not making a lot of money. I was like, no, he's actually making a lot of money. It's just he's very specific on who he talks to. So it's like what I want all you guys to take from him is just do a lot of volume. Get clear on like you're gonna get the most clear on your offer is after you start producing content. And then once you're able to put yourself out there in front of people and being okay with the fact that it's like, hey, like you're figuring it out too. You're learning as you go. And I'm sorry to tell you, like, if you're waiting for a perfect offer to just, for you to craft a perfect offer before you iterate anything, it's not gonna happen. So I gotta jet out of here, guys. If you guys need me, shoot me a message. If you guys have any more in-depth questions with Robbie, shoot him a message. I'm sorry, make a post. And other than that, this call's recorded, so I'll drop the call link. That way you guys have it. Other than that, guys, much love like always. Take action. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day and peace.